When we enter the house, there's a lot of things to actually check and assess. At first, we will feel the climate and see if the temperature feels comfortable, not only by looking at the birds, but also checking at bird's height if there's a comfortable temperature, and also how is the air quality. Do we feel there's a lot of ammonia in the air? Do we feel there's a very humid climate? That are things that sometimes the computer will not tell you, but that the birds and your own impressions in the house will better tell you. Then also we'll check the feed hopper. In the feed hopper we can have an assessment of the feed quality, how does it smell, what is the structure of the feed. Thereafter we will go and walk through the whole house, see if the birds are active when moving around. All of the birds should be jumping up and running away from you. And also we will check if the flock is homogeneous. Homogeneity is very important parameter to assess, and we will check each time flocks of 5 to 10 birds and check if the size of the birds is very similar or not. Then we also check the litter quality. Litter quality we can easily assess by sliding our feet and checking if the litter is loose or more caked. Water and feed are very important ingredients to assess. We need both excellent feed quality and excellent water quality, and also we want the birds to easily access that feed and water. For the feed, we will check feed pans, where again the consistency of the feed is very important. You can have pellets that have too much fines, that have too much damage from the transport and give a lot of fines in the pans, and this could cause some birds to have too much pellets eaten. Other ones will prefer the fines and will eat too much fines. So that can be a reason of bad homogeneity or bad growth of the birds on one side. On the other side, we also have to check that the feed access is easy for the birds. And the feed access should be easy by checking the height of the feed pans, and the height of the feed pans should be that the bottom of the feed pan should be at the height of the back of the birds. That will allow the birds to have a good access to the feed. For the drinking water, what is very important in nipple systems is to check that the water pressure is not too high and the water pressure is not too low. If the water pressure is too high, when the birds try to drink from the nipple, the pressure will cause too much water to flow and too much water will be lost in the litter. That can give, of course, later on litter quality problems and too high water consumption in the house. That is, of course, not good. On the other hand, when the water pressure is too low, the birds have to make too much effort to drink enough water, so they will be hampered in their water intake. Water intake that is decreased can also cause lower feed intake and cause, of course, lower growth. The water lines also should have a height which is correct, and the correct height is defined by the need for the bird to stretch their necks in order to have a comfortable drinking. If they have to bend down too much, they will be not easily drinking the water, and that can also have an impact on the water intake. When you are to assess water and feed lines, remember to check the water and feed lines not only at one particular spot in the house, but check it at front, the middle and at the end of the house, because the quality of the feed and water can differ a lot between the different zones in the poultry house. So when we want to assess fecal consistency, we have to remember that digestion is the primary economic factor in broiler production. So we need really good fecal consistency in order to have a very good economic and healthy growth. When we look at the fecal consistency, there's a lot of things that can be abnormal, such as orange mucus, or very slimy gut contents, or very watery and diuretic fecal contents. Also, what a lot of farmers don't like to see is that a lot of undigested feed is present in the fecal droppings. Evaluate the climate. We don't only look at the machine, and we don't only use our own senses to assess the climate quality, but we also will look at first signs of respiratory issues. First signs of respiratory issues can be discovered by checking the nose of the birds. And when you see dirty nose, this means that we have some fluid discharge from the nose where dust will be trapped into, and that will give the dirty nose. So when we see this is the first sign of potential respiratory issues. So another sign of potential bad climate or diseases, respiratory diseases coming up can be conjunctivitis. Conjunctivitis can be seen by eyelids that are red and a little bit of discharge that is coming from the eyes.